All right, welcome everybody to the annual Meet the Candidates Forum. Welcome. So, explanation of the voting process. All the ballots were dropped off at the post office yesterday on their loading dock. Talked to them, loaded it in their container, and they are being mailed today. Each home has 4 votes because there are 4 positions open. Each position is for a 2-year term. There are 3 candidates on the ballot: Kathy Craven, Gracie Luna, and Larry Workman. So each home has 4 votes, but with the removal of cumulative voting, you only are able to vote for one vote per candidate. It used to be you could have 4 votes per candidate. Now you can have 1 vote per candidate, but you still have 4 votes, so you can vote for each person or a write-in, but still only 1 vote per candidate. Ballots need to be back by May 2nd. The inspectors will be opening the ballots May 2nd and May 3rd, and then the annual meeting to announce the winner of the election will be May 6th, that Friday at 1 p.m. in the ballroom. So for the meeting, each candidate will have 3 minutes for an opening statement. I've got random questions in a hat that I will pull and ask the candidates, and they'll have an opportunity to answer those for 2 minutes. Each candidate will have 2 questions. And then at the end of that, we'll go back through and they'll have another 2 minutes or 3 minutes to answer a question that they weren't asked or would have liked to have been asked, or a closing statement. And then we'll have the reminders and the adjournment. So with that, we'll go right into the candidates. Kathy Craven, you have 3 minutes.
Is this okay right here?
That's fine.
Let me start by saying it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve as the Vice President on the current Board of Directors. When I originally ran, one of the most important things I believed was to treat our community as a business, to ensure we preserve the original beauty that drew us all to purchase our homes, and to be a premier 55+ community in California, and I still wholeheartedly believe that. I believe community involvement is essential to our HOA, and since moving to Four Seasons Beaumont 4.5 years ago, I have been a member of the Safety Committee, as well as a current member on the Neighborhood Watch Committee, Steering Committee. As a board member, I am on the board liaison to the Finance Committee, Landscape Committee, and the Community Planning Committee, as well as the backup liaison to the Safety Committee. As a liaison to the Finance Committee, I believe money is always a key issue in any HOA, and our community is no different. We are very fiscally sound with our investments and have strong reserves. The challenge we face in the near term is trying to make guesses on inflation that is currently skyrocketing. I believe we should continue to strive to keep our reserves at or above 100% to ensure we have the funds available to address items in need of repair or replacement. Keep in mind the money going in the reserves is not forecasted at the current rate of inflation. As I said, I believe we need to look at Four Seasons as a business while balancing the needs of the residents who call Four Seasons home. Treating it as a business will ensure we are not overspending and place ourselves in jeopardy in the future. We need to evaluate all capital projects to determine feasibility and protect our on-hand cash for emergencies, ensuring our residents do not incur a special assessment. A healthy reserve is essential to the longevity of our community. During my time on the board, I have been part of the contracts team, ensuring contracts are beneficial to Four Seasons, both monetarily and legally. I have worked closely with our legal counsel. I have participated with other 55+ communities in our area in a senior action coalition where we look at new legislation impacting our communities, as well as discussing and brainstorming issues related to our specific demographic. Prior to retiring, I worked for Verizon for 37 years in a position supervising employees to provide technical service to Fortune 500 companies. I was responsible for retention of customers and worked on various requests for proposals along with contract requests. In closing, I would love to serve another term on the board of directors, and I would respectfully ask for your vote for an additional term and hope to serve this wonderful community again.
Thank you. Gracie?
My name is Gracie Luna. And Kathy was very nice in wanting to hand me her 3-minute piece of paper because I came and I'm going to wing it. I could basically follow what I ran on my first 2 years, and that was to be fair to the community with transparency to every resident that lives here. In the past, the board was a little bit, I felt, didn't have the transparency that it should have. I look at our board now and I feel that we do. I'm extremely egalitarian when it comes to fairness of people and everybody treated the same no matter who they are. I'm extremely detailed oriented. My background is coming from a large defense corporation where I worked with negotiating contracts for the U.S. Army. I felt that my interpersonal skills dealing with the Army helps me to be a fair board member, and that is to be a little bit thick-skinned, because working with the Army, you have a lot of personalities, not just with the Army, but with the military itself. So I've learned to be a little thick-skinned. I think being a board member, you have to be, because you not only get complaints from people, you need to act upon those complaints and not be biased in any way. So you come in, you set aside your personal bias, and you be fair to everybody that lives here. And I thank everybody that voted for me last time, and I felt that it was an opportunity to show my skills and help this community. And more important, it has been a great honor to be on the board. Is it a lot of work? You bet it is. But is it worth it to make this community better than it's ever been? You bet it is. So I would appreciate every vote I get, and every time one of you out there calls me, yes, I get calls, I do my best to forward your concerns to the right person if I can't answer those concerns for you. So again, thank you very, very much for having the honor to have served on the board for 2 years, and I hope you give me that same honor for another 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Gracie.
Oh, you want my piece of paper too? Yes, Kathy.
My name is Larry Workman. I've been on the board for the past 2 years also. When I ran for the board, I was realizing that the earlier years prior to when I ran the board, this community was pretty much a KHOV sales asset, and we were transitioning from that to a what you could run as a business, and we needed to address that in more business terms that possibly were being done prior to the time that I joined the board. Since that time, I think we've made some great headway, and I look forward to continuing that with additional changes that we have been working on and continue to work on. We also would like to always give you, the community, the best community that you can have in facilities, but also maintain the dues structure for some of the people that are struggling to stay in the community. So it's a balancing act between keeping this thing financially equitable for those and still maintaining some of the new facilities that we want with the increasing costs that we have. My background has been, I started out in engineering and ended up in sales and marketing over the 40 some odd years. And in that sales and marketing position in particular, it was for a large multinational business of about $2 million annually. I was on the senior staff and involved with product management, product liabilities, sales and marketing, So I've had a little bit of all of the types of things that we've touched on the board. I've also had board experience with a previous HOA that I lived with. And again, I have enjoyed working with this group as a very equitable group that is always looking out for the betterment of the community and would like to continue on for another 2 years. And I would hope that I could get your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So we can pass it back down to Kathy. We'll go into our questions. And each person will have a chance to have 2 questions, and you'll have 2 minutes to answer that question. And the first question is, the beauty of Four Seasons Beaumont is paramount to many of the residents living here. What would you personally like to see done to maintain or improve our community's aesthetics?
Currently, I liaison to the landscape committee, and I believe that the landscaping is what everybody moved in here for. I know when we pulled through that gate for the first time and made the turn towards the sales office, it was just beautiful. I think that although it's changing, we're still trying to preserve the same beauty that was there. We're looking at all the trees that are there and whether more need to be planted or more need to come out. We're looking at what's the best way to make it look beautiful while staying within budget for water, because water is going up. I think that in the future, we need to look at maybe becoming more drought-tolerant plants in here that would still be beautiful. I think that the buildings that are in here are absolutely gorgeous, and when you walk in or drive in at night, it's spectacular with the lighting in the lodge. And I'd like to see that we continue to keep everything in the shape that it's in and allot the money to be funded to preserve all of those. I know we have our reserves that can pay for most of the repairs and replacements of things, but I would like to see that maybe we go a little more. Currently, we're looking at, we are remodeling the lodge in the entryway and by the fireplace, and I think that as we move forward, we need to look at maybe more modern type environment in there than what we have, and stay pretty relevant to what people would like to see when they move in. I know that people that are 45 right now and they're moving in at 55 probably aren't going to want everything that we have that looks older now. So I think we should try to stay in line with what people would want for resale values for our people. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could pass the mic to Gracie. Yeah.
Simple things escape us.
The next question is, if you could change a CC&R provision or update a rule, which one would it be and why?
As I look at the CC&Rs, there is something that I would like to add to the CC&Rs that was taken away. And that's basically the rules and regulations of having an actual rules and regulations committee again, which we abandoned a few years back. To change any of the CCRs other than adding that, I don't see that there's a change that needs to be made. Our CC&Rs fit the personalities here. When we moved here, I think, unfortunately, people didn't realize that there are CC&Rs, and we have to abide by those CC&Rs the best that we can. And when we do get questions about the CC&Rs, those people who moved here and don't like to follow rules, well, we still have them living here not following the rules. So as far as any changes in the CCRs, I don't think you can get much better for a community our size to change the CC&Rs in any way. That's what I have to say, except that one added thing. I would like to see a rules and regulations committee again.
Thank you, Grace. Yeah.
Difficult things, simple things.
next question is, what is your vision for getting more homeowners to participate in general meetings, elections, and other community or business events?
Wow, that's been one that I've been trying to play with the 7 years that I've been here. One of the things that I suggested, and we tried in the last session of this board, was to have evening board meetings, which didn't seem to go over very good. I thought it would be a good idea to get those that were the younger demographic that were maybe working all the time would be able to come. I think the main thing that we need to do always, and it's sales and marketing again, we need just to communicate to the community everything that's going on and everything that is going to be coming on so that they know what's going on. We have multiple media methods. We have the AM report, we have the website, we have the Breeze. Sometimes they're not all coordinated, but we need to coordinate it so that the people can get the information from where they're comfortable in getting it. Some people are not computer friendly, so therefore they don't want to use the smartphones or the computer, and they go to the Breeze. The Breeze has a problem of having about a month delay from the time it goes to press till it gets out, and a lot of things happen in the meantime. But we need to get that information out to the people. We're looking at some modifications to the lodge entry that will help communicate upcoming activities and keep people more abreast. It's just getting out that advertising.
Great. Thank you, Larry. Next question for Kathy. We have various groups who have wants or needs. How would you work to ensure fair and equitable distribution of meeting rooms, gym time, pool time, etc.?
I think currently we have a calendar set up that most of the groups and clubs have chosen the times that they want to use it. I think that what we could do if we were looking to make more changes is possibly set up a lottery type of a system where everybody puts their club in the hat and we start pulling for when anybody wants it. I think currently though, most of the clubs are when they want to meet. I know we have rooms that are full at capacity most of the time. I know with the various cart groups and games that go on, it's hard to divvy it out into the rooms, but I think currently we don't have a problem with that. And if there was a problem and we did need to redo something, I would suggest a lottery type of a system that would be fair to everybody.
Thank you, Kathy.
Ooh, that looks like a long one.
Let's see. Oh, I forgot to do that. Let's see. So, why do you want to serve on our board, and what would you like to see accomplished? And can you name one or two issues on the top of your list?
Do they have to be issues, as in, when you say issues? Would you repeat that question?
Of course. Why do you want to serve on our board, and what would you like to see accomplished? And then can you name one or two issues on the top of your list?
Okay, why would I want to serve on the board again? Because I think that a board of directors in a 55-plus community, or in any community, but mainly in a 55-plus community, is extremely important to make sure, and yes, we have a great management company, by the way, but they can't do everything. What the board does is it ensures our residents, their safety, the beauty of where they live, the amenities constantly running by great volunteers out there in our community, and the board oversees something that's extremely important, and that's your financial obligation to this community. Finances play a great part in running a successful 55-plus community. That's why We oversee, we have board liaisons to finance, to every committee out there to make sure that your homeowner dues are going to the right place and you know exactly what you're paying for here. And again, we are very fortunate having a great finance committee backing up the board to have our reserves at 100+%. You can go to a couple other communities in our area and you will not see that. So as far as any issues and what I would like to change at this time, it's not really a change, it's a continuation to be as transparent as we can to our community and to the residents who deserve it so. They pay for us with our great big paycheck being on the board, and that's a joke, there is no paycheck. We come in and we do it because we also want to pass this legacy of living good down to our children, our grandchildren, and keep it as beautiful and as healthy as we can, monetarily and beautifully. Is my time up? Thank you.
It is, yep. Sorry.
Okay, I could go on and on about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gracie.
Larry.
The question is, if you were on the board, how would you work to ensure that all residents, including those who are not involved in association meetings, stay informed of board actions, including major expenditures and projects?
Well, this is kind of a continuation of my last question, I think, but again, it comes down to getting the information out to the people, and again, we do it by the various means that each of the demographics within the community is comfortable with. There's only a certain amount of information you can put on smartphones, there's only a certain amount that you can put on a website, and again, there's the delay that happens with the breeze, but the more information we can get out timely, letting them know what is happening, what has taken place at the board level, what has taken place on the various committee levels that can be promoted out to the site, to the community. The more that they know, the more that they understand what they are paying their dues for and are willing to accept what we do from the board's standpoint of trying to maintain the budget and their dues level.
Thank you, Larry. So this is your opportunity as the final question. You'll be able to answer a question that you weren't asked or your closing statement, and you'll each have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'd like to go back and revisit the vision for more homeowners to join in events. I believe that we have currently a great, as Gracie put it, management company. Our activities director is involved in everything. She puts together great events, and I've noticed since we came out of COVID, these events are packed as we speak. I think that with the daily report that goes out, with the messages in the lobby where we used to have the poster boards, I think that, you know, we had a lot of advertising. I think if we could get most of the people in here to utilize the daily report, to make sure that it's informative and goes out with all the information in it for like a week at a time, I think we could get more people involved. A lot of times you'll look at it and something's not in there and it appears the next day and it's for that day. So a lot of times I think people just aren't aware of everything that goes on. We have, you know, we live in a community where most of the people probably have worked where there's been technology, and I'd like to think that they would like to get their information via email or through our daily report. Our Breeze magazine puts out a great amount of information. It talks about all the meetings that are up here every month, what groups and clubs. So I think that if we could relay that message to everyone that they have everything at the tip of their fingers right now, they would be able to know when things are going to happen and be able to join it and be a lot more involved in their community. Thank you.
I was going to do the same question,
Okay.
just follow up and piggyback on Kathy. To get more people involved is difficult simply because we have people here, I've been here 13 years, and there are people that have been here for 16 years. These people didn't come out of high technology in their jobs that are living here. So for them to actually use the computer and find things on the computer, i.e. the daily report, is difficult for them. I've talked to a lot of them. I've encouraged them to come, if they have a question, they have the Breeze magazine. Just about every committee activity is in the Breeze magazine, if we can get it in there soon enough. But I've encouraged the people who've talked to me about not being computer literate. And I tell them to please come down. We have not only a management team, but we have people sitting at that front desk. They have any questions, ask them. If they can't answer it, come to a board member. We do know the activities, we know the capacity of the rooms. I just think the way to get more people involved is to personally talk to them. So that's what I do my best at, is going around, walking through the lodge. I see somebody that's just standing around. I've actually gone up and I've asked them, do you need help? Is there anything that we can do for you? And I think that's much appreciated around here. When you can be open-minded, fair, walk up to these people, encourage them to get involved. I know we've done that with the wine club. Doesn't need a lot of encouragement. We have done that. We'll see people walk in, they'll go, what's going on? We run up and say, it's the wine club, come and join us. If you don't drink, walk in, get the feel for the social atmosphere. And that goes along with any club, group, or committee here. And my final statement again is I want to thank everybody out there who has shown support, not only to me, but to our entire board.
I second everything that Kathy and Grace have said. I also feel that as we have transitioned from, as I said earlier, KHOG sales asset to a, we'll call it a corporation or a company, we need to do more as far as planning for our future. And I know that there's stuff going on in the background of doing what they call a strategic plan, figuring out what we want to do 5 years from now so that this place doesn't end up looking like it did this year when there's been developments 20 years, 15 years down the road. So a strategic plan is always necessary and always good to plan what you're doing ahead of time so that you're not getting caught at the last minute repairing things or doing things at the last minute, which has tended to slow some of the improvements that we wanted down a little bit lately. But as a whole, we have had a very strong board that has taken on this ability to convert from, as I refer to it, as a sales asset to a corporate structure, and are addressing these various areas so that we can maintain the viability of the community and, again, maintain the HOA dues levels so that people are not being priced out.
Thank you, Larry. With that, as a reminder, all the ballots were mailed out yesterday, so you should be getting them any day now because they were at the local post office. The meetings to count the ballots will be Monday, May 2nd and Tuesday, May 3rd at 9 a.m. in the room behind us, RCN room 3. And the annual meeting for the election of the board will be on Friday, May 6th at 1 p.m. in the ballroom. Thank you, everybody, for coming.